Hello and welcome to the 2026 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Winter League. Week 3 may have technically already begun, but we have one final Week 2 race to show off. It is a vodcast of Group 6 featuring Chadbert, Diabeetus2nd, Edge, and Zylynor. Speaking of Zylynor, he is our restreamer today. Give him a warm welcome. It is his first restream. Uh, Also give a welcome to me, I guess, though, don't. Don't, Aaron. Uh, and aside from that, we have Shahali and Injidave on tracking duties. This is, of course, being the last week 2, it is still in week 2 flags. That's how time and causality work. We have random chest locations. We have Hurt More Doors. We have Unbreakable Keys. We have Aesthetic King. We have Level Up Refill. Crit chance being doubled. Random in and key prices, they can both be between 1 and 200 and, well, I guess not between, they can both be from 1 to 255 gold. Random gold chest prices have been made a lot less random in that they can only be 5 to 20 gold. We have level 1 Radiant, level 1 Repel, normalized monster XP in gold, and random town entrances. As for what all that means, random town entrances means you just enter somewhere random, except of course in Tanagel or into the back of Garenham, because those would both be cheating. Uh, as for everything else, it means you're not really getting any gold from chests. Um, Maybe enough to buy a fairy water or two. Instead, you're going to have to get a lot of your gold from enemies and potentially selling the death necklace or cursed belts, or potentially selling extra keys because you just need the one key. I think that's one, yeah, unbreakable keys. Uh, so you can sell extra keys to make money. Aside from that, you're gonna have to get it from enemies. But luckily, the king is ascetic. He will not be taking it. That does mean you can get kind of adventurous with exploring in gold. You don't really have to worry about saving ever at any point. It's absolutely fantastic for buying gear once you have the money, a lot less good at getting the money. As for our competitors, this is an important week going into the positional round, but also important week for getting points in general. Not that any week isn't important for that. Chadbert had a good week 1, finished with 3 points in a second place finish, so could really use some extra points to get a bit higher. Uh, Diabeetus2nd had a really great week finishing first, so in a pretty good position already, but a good finish can really help solidify his standings in through 2 weeks. Meanwhile, we have Edge sitting at 3 points as well after a second place finish last week, and Zylynor also at 3 points. So a lot of points in this group right now. Uh, Obviously, they can't all get quite as many points this week. Looking at the stats and the builds, we don't seem to have any build differences. Yeah, no. And the stats are not exactly great right now. We do have starting with stock spell can be very useful. If you find something that you can potentially kill that has a spell, you can maybe stop spell and get a kill that you maybe wouldn't otherwise be able to. But as you know, noting in chat, that AP level being at 4 is pretty rough. That is the minimum, and means that a lot of things are going to be hard to hit at all. At level 4, ideally, you'll only be seeing slimes of some denomination. Metal if you're, really lucky, but more likely to be slimes or red slimes. it will be beginning in a moment. Have a throne room, obviously. I don't know why I said that as if that were the revelation. The chess will be the actual revelation. You will get one key in the back here, but it will automatically break. That said, you have a second key, and that one, I believe, I've never actually had this flag set gift me with a key at the start, will not break. So they just start with a key as an extra. They also start with a fairy flute, not that that will be doing much this week. Only really useful for the one purpose this week. Also don't have enough chests in the front at least to do a gold, not a gold grind, but a grind of any sort. Obviously right now you would love to grind fairy water or torches. But if you are going to do that, they have to be in the back or below. That said, so far only the gold, which again, isn't going to be much, and is not really what you want to see out of the chest right now. There is enough herbs to get through here. Could be very big if this is not gold, but it is gold. Also, Tablet Cave below, still the potential for having a fairy water or torch grind, which would prove absolutely massive. That said, so far all the chests are coming up empty. I think there was one. I don't know that Edge saw the final one. Oh wait, no, he has repel up, so he must have. So yeah, there's nothing in here. Wow. Diabeetus will also get the bad news. Chadbert will soon. Zylynor actually grinding a small gold chest. I don't mind this at all. Like, it feels really bad, but also, you know, you can potentially snag some fairy water, a small weapon. I don't know that I would go too high, but obviously getting like a hand axe right here would be absolutely massive with this AP value. And the good news with starting with such bad strength is it's unlikely that hand axe will be, you know, have the value removed anytime soon. Meanwhile, we have some fights starting and some bad news. The Scorpion, not that it is achievable right now anyway, does have, I believe that was Little Breath, even less achievable. Diabeetus, meanwhile, dying to a ghost, I believe it was. And we have Edge finding the slimes, which again, the only really good enemy. As you can see right now, Diabeetus in this ghost fight has gotten 2 fails and a dodge. Do have double crit rate though, so this isn't, you know, as dire as it seems to be. All you need to do is get the 1 out of 16 crit chance, which is what he will be saying to himself in frustration in the throne room because he's been sent back. Edge, meanwhile, the first hit level 2, and that provides a nice, relatively speaking, it's only 7, which isn't usually huge, but getting out of the single digits is massive. He will also be trying to take on this Scorpion a little bit, but not quite there yet, and also, you know, the Little Breath, although I don't know that he saw that. Yeah, level 1 is not a good place to be. So far, I don't think we've seen a red slime. We have seen these regular slimes. They're going to eventually get you out of it. But so far, the only one they've rescued is Edge. Everybody else is still just trying to get that second good encounter. Diabeetus has one here, but I don't know that his HP total. Oh, is going to be... Oh, no. That's really unfortunate for Diabeetus. Obviously, you're generally a favor to take on a slime that has no abilities, seemingly, at any level. But when you've only got 2 HP, that's a bit rough. Meanwhile, another level has gone to Edge. Level 3 gave 6 more AP. Not really much of anything else, but you know, at this point, all you really care about is AP. Just get AP. Chadbert with a Drakey over here on the left side. That is an achievable fight, but it is in the range where you're, you know, gonna have to not get unlucky, I would say. Like, if it doesn't have anything, which it doesn't appear to, you don't have to get lucky, but you do need to have to not get unlucky. Luckily, if they had one more AP, this would actually be a really bad fight. That said, it's currently being very bad specifically for Chadbert. This is getting a bit ridiculous. I believe it's a 50% shot to, you know, hit it. But he missed like 3 or 4 in a row. Finally does get the kill, though. Zylynor doing a little bit of the homework that others had already done, I believe, and finding out the bad news of nothing in tablet. And Chadbert getting the... No, he already had the bad news. Edge is the one who I don't think had seen the little breath before now. But he has now seen level 4, getting off to a big lead thanks to that early luck at killing the slimes faster. And once you get past this 4 AP start, it's really going to snowball a bit. Able to actually take out scorpions now, which is the best enemy we've seen aside from the Little Breath. But even then, they've also got Stop Spell, which, I mean, you know, stop something, sure, go ahead. Oh, there's Red Slime. I think we've seen one before and I just didn't notice it. Yeah, as Destiny noting, early heal more as well. At the very least, like obviously right now you'd probably prefer to have week 2 at least. You prefer to have heal, but you know, you'll take any healing, and at least it means you don't have to get it later. Meanwhile, Diabeetus and Chadbert have finally managed to get past the slow opening crawl and are now going to start accumulating XP much faster. Zylynor a little bit behind here. Oh, no wonder I didn't see the red slimes. You can't stay in combat with them that long because they have DL2. That will send Zylynor back. Just one red slime off getting to level 2. Probably will want to try to get that off the blue slimes instead, on account of the fact that, you know, they don't spit fire in your face. Diabeetus up to level 3. Chadbert might also be, no, not quite. This will not quite get him there. Oh, wait, duh. Normalize Monster XP in gold, that will get him there, just barely. We have level 5 while I blinked, and that was another solid strength gain. For starting out so poorly, I think pretty much every level has had 7 or more AP on it. So that's a pretty good thing to have happen when you're starting at, you know, 4. Didn't see any spells immediately, and obviously if Hurt more on this level, Edge would not be in the zone anymore, so we can at the very least assume that. Other thing to note is, with this flag set, you do fill up on level up refill. You do fill up on level up refills. You do refill on level ups. English. And that means that Edge is going to be able to keep his MP for a while, which does kind of mitigate the fact that his only healing is heal more. All he has to do really is heal more and assume that he's going to get the next level before he has to heal more again, hopefully. Yeah, nothing else on level 5 except for the heal more that he got on level 4. I don't know why I phrased it that way either. Level 4 for Chadbert and Diabeetus. Meanwhile, Zylynor now at level 3. Zylynor gonna be trying to take on this Scorpion, and as long as he doesn't get the DL2 breath, or the weak breath, he does have a good shot and does indeed get it. That'll jump him up to level 4 as well. A little bit of a separation, but not much, honestly. The biggest separation, obviously, being between Edge and the others, getting to better than 4 AP total early is a nice cure for all that ails you. Zylynor now going to try to take his money across the swamp. Does have heal more, so can get over it, across it, relatively easy. Meanwhile, Edge hitting level 6 now. That's another big gain in terms of some stats. Not honestly, I mean, you know, agility is nice, but right now it obviously doesn't matter a huge amount. But he will use it to maneuver into this cave and find a cursed belt as the first chest engraved, although I don't know that he checked the lower left two randomized chests. We'll be taking out this Metal Scorpion, does have heal more, so unless it has something big, will not be an issue. You know, Zylynor's exploration will grant him Canlin Cave, a really good town for him to find potentially, but not here. Does not see either of the two weapons you do like to buy at this point. Obviously, Bamboo Pole, memes aside, is not really what you want to see. You're hoping for a copper sword or preferably a hand axe, but still nothing there. Has seen 2 chainmails, but going to keep a hold of that money, hoping that he can get the hand axe out of this final shop. Wouldn't be surprised if he just, you know, buys the chainmail out of disgust, especially since that copper sword is there. Has plenty of money to buy chainmail and a small shield, although I don't believe we saw one. Gets the leather armor instead. Meanwhile, levels continue to equalize a bit. Diabeetus and Chadbert now at 5. One behind Edge, and Edge is starting to explore a bit more, so could see them catch up a bit faster. We have the Harp in Cantlin, so Cantlin is required. That said, easy check to find, easy chest to get to, obviously. Gonna do some incidental shopping here as well, grab some herbs. Honestly, the MP is still such that you'd really love to get a bunch of herbs. Edge now going deeper into Grave, but encountering some enemies that could potentially take him out. That said, also encountering a Warlock, fantastic enemy right now. Does have little hurt, but obviously that means it's not hitting you with anything else. And that's Diabeetus, I believe, also in the Grave now. So far, I don't think there was anything. I didn't see the other top floor chests aside from the cursed belt, but Edge has nothing else in his inventory, so I assume it was basically Bupkis. Obviously, we're past the point of fairy water actually mattering right now. Ooh, what does matter is wizards have hurt more. Not a huge deal right now, although you can stop spell them, which could prove eventful. It's what Diabeetus used to just get a couple extra runs off that one. Chadbert, meanwhile, taking a death. I didn't see what killed him, but I have seen plenty of red dragons on the overworld, so, you know, decent odds it was something like that. Chadbert and Diabeetus have now caught up to level 6, but Edge is just one decent encounter away from, honestly, I think just one basically winnable encounter. There's not much you can find out there that isn't going to give you a 5 XP that he would actually, you know, be swinging at right now anyway. So very close to the level on his side. We'll be going Deep Grave. Doesn't make a check there. You can actually check the center chest to see if that's there via Radiant through there, but he's just going to check it this way. Meanwhile, Diabeetus has returned to Angel. I don't know for sure what sent him back. Is going to be grabbing a little extra money. Potentially going to set up a gold grind here. Again, it doesn't feel good, but, you know, if you functionally already got it set up, you could grab, again, enough money to... Nope, he was just going back to check that chest. Maybe it was just slightly short of something you needed to buy, which you'd have to be because it was only 5. Oh, Metal Slime for Edge here. This is fantastic enemy. It isn't guaranteed not to run, I think, anymore, but if it doesn't run, and it didn't, you can kill it. And he did, and he gets a nice bonus, which will send him well and away on to level 7. Granted, not much there except more HP. HP is getting to the level, though, where you really love to see it get this high, because you're potentially inuring yourself from a DL2 breath if you can get just a bit more. Meanwhile, Diabetes getting to Coal, which has Erdrick's token. The Tease, as it is sometimes called, because it is not Erdrick's sword or Erdrick's armor. That said, it is required. Also, something that can be on a search spot is the Death Necklace, which he found just in that chest there. So he's got, especially once he gets the chest in Cantlin, it'll be a very good bit of information for him on what can be on a search spot. Speaking of search spots, we have Zylynor there getting to the coordinates in Cantlin, so he has those. That is a bit of a walk. Still very much in the realm of you can walk that out. You don't technically need to do anything fancy if you don't want to, because it's mostly just in one direction. But it is far enough where you could see racers doing a reverse count or a princess rescue as well. And obviously a lot of that will depend on the map. He's going to take a break from exploring and try to get some more experience here. That said, right now enemies do not want to encounter him. Does get a Wolflord. That's a pretty fantastic enemy right now. He's going to be a bit Healmore centric, but you know, right now you're in the range where you just want to get experience. How much MP it costs you, especially since it will refill on his next level up, which is soon TM, doesn't really matter. Just get experience. Speaking of that, Chadbert getting to level 7, still grinding that Grave 1 zone, I believe. And Diabetes grinding, I believe, outside of Coal. Chadbert now doing the same thing Edge did, checking the Deep Grave. Ooh, that's a bad enemy to have in this. So that's, we've seen a bunch of red dragons for our racers. That is where they are. That's that probably southeast diagonal, but it also has the Wolflord, so a bit of a shame for that zone. Meanwhile, another level and another big HP boost for Edge. He has got a pretty solid, I wouldn't say commanding yet, but very good experience lead that could be cut into if Chadbert takes out this Metal Slime. But does also find out that Knights have DL2, which, again, you're at the level now where you can survive that if you're silent, if you're Edge, but you don't love to see it, even so. Does find the Fighter's Ring in Cold. Didn't spot that on Diabetes' side, but I imagine he has picked up and equipped that as well. If not, I imagine he will do so soon if he ever goes back in, but yep, he's got it right there. 2 AP by equipping that. Not exactly something you'll write home about at this point. Would have been really lovely at the start, but now it's a bit of an afterthought, but an afterthought that could affect your DL2 math. Then he'll get blocked by that NPC that just decided to walk onto the spike tile. Does get the token though, so that means Edge has a fair bit of exploration done now as well. Does need to find Cantlin, but we'll have the Death Necklace and potentially the ability to sell. Oh, and while I was looking away, Chadbert got a Metal Slime kill that will send him not to level 9 yet, but getting very close, and that probably got him level 6, I imagine. Level 6, level 8. Math. One thing to note, with normalized, enemies are going to give a slightly different amount, but normalized XP and gold is a flag set that, unlike some previous versions, does still reward you from having the same enemies. So, Metal Slimes used to be in more randomized versions of XP. Metal Slimes were always bad. More randomized. You know what I mean? Normalized, I forget the other one. I can't remember what the old flag used to be called. But, you know, used to punish you for finding Metal Slimes because they always rolled to like 30 or so. Same with Goldman and Gold. They would always roll to like 40 or so gold or something like that. Now enemies kind of keep their flavor, so you will still be getting quite a bit from those Metal Slimes, just not quite as much as you used to. That said, he's going to take advantage of this zone, and honestly, with the crit rate being where it is, not a bad zone to take, especially because you don't really have any other tools for beating, aside from the HP, you don't have any tools to beat anything else. There was no massive pile of gold, which is obviously impossible in the seed, to get a flame sword or something. There's no hurt more yet. A very good advantage to just find a Metal Slime zone and hope you get the 1 out of 16 double crit rate. Yeah, Zylynor should have the copper sword. Bought that and a leather armor. Yeah, second trip into grave for Diabeetus. First trip, I believe, for Zylynor. Diabeetus is looking around a bit to check. I thought he had been in here before. Oh no, that's Mountain. Why did I think that was Grave? He got into Mountain and I didn't even see it. That said, it doesn't really matter much because, oh boy, there is not much in there. And by much in there, I mean seemingly nothing. Just gander, takes a gander at a couple chest spots and just doesn't bother to go any further. So there was nothing in there. Obviously his gear hasn't changed at all. Neither of his trading items. So Mountain, an absolute bust. Edge, as I say that, finding it as well. Sure, he'll enjoy that cave. And Chadbert, I think, is in Deep Grave, coming out of Deep Grave now. As Zylynor enters, so we have a couple racers not quite high-fiving each other, but looking strenuously at each other as they pass. Meanwhile, nothing has changed too much on the levels. Chadbert has the XP lead now, thanks to this Metal Slime grind, and has gotten some things, but not much. It's maybe a little bit more MP, I think. But obviously, based on the swings he's getting, the strength did not move that much at all. Diabeetus finding a town in some swamp. I think this is maybe new. That said, I think he's maybe not going to see it. Oh, actually, no. Okay, I think he's guaranteed to run here. Yeah, so we will see it, and it is Breckenary. 2 chest opportunities in here. That said, I believe one of them right there was empty. He will be going for the item shop instead. Yeah, right now that seems to be the best zone with the Metal Slimes. We'll be curious if Zylynor sees it. And he does see the Metal Slime, so he could just decide to stay here or come back here after checking the items. Will depend on how he feels about that. Looks like the other chest opportunity in Breckenary was also empty, so Breckenary also completely useless. Really, I think, has there been any actual worthwhile chest in a single cave yet? I don't think there has. Like, Tablet was empty, Mountain was basically empty, and I think top and bottom of Grave were, they had chests in them, but none of them were, important. That said, if you're in Zylynor's shoes, you do have the harp. You don't have the token yet, and I guess Diabeetus or Edge don't have the harp yet. So there is a bit of information gap between our racers. Once they put it together, I mean, you've got both the necklace and the flute. You've got 2 of the 3 trading items in play. You know their coordinates. Search spots are potentially looming very large. 2 out of 3 shot they have the sword or armor. And obviously there are 2 of them. Though one could be empty. And also, it's going to be guarded by something you probably can't kill yet, although you at least have the HP to survive a bunch of stuff. Edge finding a town, I believe that's new, and it is Rimmeldar. So 3 chest opportunities here. At least 2 of them are occupied, so could finally see something useful from a chest outside of, Cantlin, the opening, and one other place that I can't remember off the top of my head. And it is the Stones of Sunlight for Edge. That is really good information for him. And also really good information for us. That means the overworld search spot can only be sword or armor. And if Hawksness search spot is active, the other has to be there. That said, he doesn't quite know this yet because he hasn't gotten his hand on the harp. And obviously we don't know Hawksness could just be a complete and utter waste of time. Meanwhile, I didn't spot this earlier, but Chadbert is at level 10 now, did manage to get over the hump to level 10, did gain some more HP, because that's exactly what you need in this seed. More HP. Does get a smorgasbord of utility spells, although not Hurtmore, which is the one you'd really like to see right now. It's that and sleep are the only things you really care too much about. Though outside, I mean, I was going to say outside is potentially useful, but I think literally everybody here is now Dove Deep Grave. Outside is basically absolutely useless in this exact flag set. Unless you, dive Sherlock and decide to leave, but with level up refill, that's the odds that you decide to leave that way are somewhat low. We'll grab the token and the death necklace out of coal for Chadbert. Does lack some of the items other people have had, but Cantlin is very close. It's not going to take that much work to get there. Rimmeldar and the token, the Stones of Sunlight, are honestly the biggest outstanding ones. Edge finding Garenham and checking the back of it. Odds are pretty low. It has something, but decent odds you can find a trading cable, though he doesn't have harp yet, so if he does find Staff Cave, it'll be a bit of a disappointment. Does find Freebie Cave in the back, and Freebie Cave gives him functionally nothing, although at least one of those nothings was a Fairy Water. Wolves, meanwhile, with the annoying combo of Sleep and Hurt. Not dangerous in the slightest, but will annoy the heck out of you if you don't have a good weapon. And so far, only one of our racers is above a copper sword. The odds of having a weapon are not great. Edge gonna try to take on this knight remembers it as DL2 and is now in a bit of trouble potentially, but does get away on the second run. A bit of a dangerous situation there. They are usually something you would want to take on, but obviously DL2 without armor is kind of rough. Survives by 2 and gets run blocked again. That said, did have that little peninsula dead-ended, so may not have mattered too much. Might have actually routed pretty well into his exploration. Just depends on the exact map. So up in the Catbird CW it's called, we have almost all the information. If Hawksness Spike has an item on it, it is we know where the sword and armor are. But none of the racers have quite managed to gather all the same information that each other has, so they're not quite in the realization of what this seed is going to present. But honestly, right now, if you find a good grind zone, which to be fair, I don't think we've really seen a good grind zone aside from the metal slimes for Chadbert, and get to the point where you have everything but sword and armor, you probably just settle down and grind more. Because at that point, your two things to do are complete search and complete the overworld search and find Hawksness. That said, still the possibility the Hawksness Spike tile is nothing. I don't think we've seen too many cursed belts. We definitely haven't seen 3. I know we've seen 1. Oh no. So I don't know in chat that it's time for him to get NPC trolled, and just as he goes in to buy, that NPC comes out the front. This is the opposite of what happened in my race, where I had the NPC block me from getting in. This is obviously much worse. One thing Zylynor probably wants to do is, aside from, playing week 3 flag sets where you can kill them, is to actually just move away so that it can move away, although you can also get there and force it to only move that way. Because I guess, it was one of those things where if you move away and let it move to the right, you're still blocked, and then it can just move to the left again, and then move to the right again. NPCs are the worst. I can't wait for this week upcoming where we can just talk to them and send them to Purgatory. Meanwhile, the experience gap has started to widen. Chadbert with a pretty commanding experience lead now. Said Edge finding a Wyvern will certainly help that out. Generally a pretty good enemy to take on. That said, it's in a zone with a golem, which obviously you can flute to get away pretty easily. He's going to do that after the first run fails. You can also generally run pretty easily from them. And it's a fantastic enemy for later, especially given this flag set doesn't nerf its experience nearly as much as the earlier version. But, ooh, this is a fantastic overworld zone later. But it's a terrible overworld zone now, and Edge will pay for that. Meanwhile, also paying is Diabeetus, who got exactoed. I think he was trying to squeeze out another kill without using too much MP. Because I don't think that looked like a death warp situation of the map. But also, could have been. Meanwhile, Chadbert, the first great runner to find Swamp Cave. Nothing in the top chest really. Or was that a third cursed belt? If that was a third cursed belt, then Chadbert has a bit of information, but also lacks either the harp or the stones. So in the end, it won't help him currently, but if that was a third cursed belt, that certainly helps us know that both Erdrick pieces are on the remaining search spots. Meanwhile, also gets level 11. Finally get a small bump to 8 MP. There we go, which is good because it also contained Hurtmore. Also a pretty hefty agility bonus. That's pretty nice to have, although obviously right now the gold situation is bad. They are still not in a situation right now where they can really kill much until they get hurt more. So the gold has not been piling up as it sometimes can. And I don't think I've seen a single gold man the entire seed. Also, something I'm seeing is Chadbert get dodged a lot. Maybe not going to take out this blue dragon. Honestly, at this AP value, I probably just would have hurt more instead, but that's obviously a huge risk, because they have a pretty solid hurt more resistance, sitting at 7 out of 16. So you're only slightly better than a coin flip to hurt more them. That said, it's probably the only way you're dealing damage on them with a club right now. Speaking of weapons, Diabeetus grabbing a broadsword at some point recently, I believe, does now take the equipment advantage. Will not be as impactful once more racers start hitting level 11, but could get him to level 11 faster. Ooh, never mind on the wyverns, that's actually awful, unless you stop spell them or just swing through and get lucky, as Edge is going to do here. They have little heal, usually not impactful, but the AP values being where they are, that's kind of rough, but does manage to get through it and will get level 10 as a result. So we have a pretty tight experience spread. Chadbert really the only one who's separated too much at all. Zylynor and Diabeetus are 2 levels behind, but also they are really close to being only 1 level behind. A bit more found information for everybody so far, but things are not quite falling where they need to fall for any of our racers to get the full information on where some of these items are. The only one who has the harp is Zylynor, and Zylynor does not yet have the token. Does seem to be starting a count now. He does not know it, but that has to be that is guaranteed to be sword or armor on that spot. Will take him a while to count this out though, because it is 74 to the east, and there is the potential of it being either inaccessible or just rough to count. So far though, things are looking clear. There's a mountain range right there that could block him off a bit, but it is on this side, and it is indeed the sword. That is huge for Zylynor. Obviously, once you get to level 11, you don't need it as much, but you need it in the end, and it's going to put him in actually perfect place to potentially check a spike tile here. We'll be fighting this knight, and luckily for him, his AP, thanks to that sword, is now high enough where he doesn't have to stick around long enough to see the DL2 breath, which turns the knight from a really, really bad enemy that can kill you to level instead. So Zylynor now with the exploration and information advantage functioning. Well, I guess information it's tied, but definitely the exploration has worked out much better for him. We know that Harp is actually kind of close, although I forget where it was off the top of my head. Sword was on the overworld search spot, so you do have to either count that out or grab a princess. Didn't seem like that bad of a count. I barely even noticed Zylynor was on the count before he got there, so infinitely countable, but could scare some of our racers away still. Edge, meanwhile, finding Swamp Cave as well and going through it. Unknown to him, Sword was like a screen away to the north, I believe. So Zylynor now also in a situation where he could very easily, if he knew, just orphan checking these chests and focus on Hawksness. Doesn't have the Fighter's Ring. I think that was in Deep Grave somewhere. Maybe. Or maybe it was Mountain Cave, actually, now that I think about it. I can't remember. Either way, doesn't have that information, but doesn't... Oh, Coal. It was in Coal. Oh, yeah, it was in the Black Coal. Which is the place he hasn't found. Oh, yeah, that's... Because Harp was also in Coal, right? A trading item was, so I imagine that it was the Harp. But if he finds Coal, he will basically know for sure where the armor is. But as yet, none of our racers has managed to get quite enough. Okay, so wait. Harp is in Cantlin? Okay. That's a bit unfortunate then, because if Harp is in Cantlin, that means Zylynor, I believe, found Cantlin and just didn't see the Harp. That said, we'll find Coal here. Oh, okay, never mind. I got Token and Harp mixed up. There we go. So yeah, we'll find the last trade item here, and that will be Grind and Go if Zylynor puts together the information that armor is on Hawksness. That said, you still need to find Hawksness, and I don't know that we've seen either trading cave. Also, we have seen another NPC block. So experience starting to contract pretty heavily. Sword has helped Zylynor really cut into that lead quite a bit. Now is third in experience, I believe. Maybe second. Meanwhile, Chadbert has been taking up some of the exploration reins that the previous runners took while he was grinding metal slimes. So he will also be rewarded with this absolutely useless mountain cave. Diabeetus, meanwhile, into Cantlin. I don't know if this is his first trip or not, but at the very least, he has coordinate information now. I imagine it is his first trip in here because he's checking shops. Edge, meanwhile, also hitting level 11 now, getting that hurt more. Half the racers are now there. No sleep yet, so Zylynor considers taking out that Stone Man and decides, Meanwhile, considers running from this wizard, and then realizes it has stop spell and decides to go for it. Will cost him an extra swing, but even at this AP value, which is surprisingly low for Sword, and level 10, we'll still get through it pretty easily. Don't know that I'd noticed before, because every time I saw them they were biting someone's head off, but red dragons have hurt. That is about as fantastic as it gets. Obviously, without Sword, you're not really going to be dealing enough damage to make it worth it, even with that, but would not be surprised if Zylynor encounters one and then kills it. Speaking of encountering and killing something, he does manage to get a kill on a wizard to take level 11, and Hurtmore. Only one still lacking that level is Diabetes. Meanwhile, Chadbert wandering through Swamp Cave and finding second continent, if it is a second continent. Edge finding Sharlock. So we've seen a lot of things, but we haven't seen Hawksness. That said, also finding a town just above Sharlock. But oh, that's just Cantlin. Wow. I feel like most of the other racers have gotten to Cantlin from the north. But he will find Cantlin and get his search spot. Does accidentally cast Hurtmore and get told there is no door. A side effect of Hurtmore being able to open doors, not that that has actually mattered this seed. Meanwhile, Chadbert finding a dead end and deciding to make himself dead rather than continue on from there. So exploration suddenly becoming very, very tight for all our racers. Edge will make that even more so by grabbing the Silver Harp right here, presumably. And that'll put 3 of our racers in fine trading caves and do a bunch of homework. As I believe by now they've probably all got the information of cursed belts. So it's entirely possible the only person remaining that might check a chest would be Chadbert. Although it depends on if they've been counting and if they have seen all of the cursed belts that everyone else has seen. Meanwhile, we finally see Hawksness. This has to be armor. We haven't seen anything too dangerous in this upper tier. Not a red dragon, which you honestly, given it as hurt, you would probably like to see. But is a blue dragon that can be juicy and is guarding the army, which the armor, which is juicier than anything else. Meanwhile, Chadbert extends the experience lead out a bit and grabs level 12. Not really much to write home about there, but a big strength gain is needed because they're still at the level, even with that, where they are not winning. So Diabetes still checking a chest there. I imagine then he hasn't spotted all the cursed belts. It could be that one was in a spot where you only really see it if you dive deep, or it could also be that he just didn't note all of them in a sheet somewhere. Meanwhile, Chadbert now also finding Hawksness. A lot of converging exploration here. One unfortunate thing for Zylynor is I believe he was the first to find Cantlin, but even though Cantlin and Hawksness seem to be pretty close, I don't know that he's seen Hawksness. That said, might be seeing it right here. Nope, that's just Brecconary again. So 3 of our runners kitted out with armor. 1 of our runners kitted out with sword. And aside from that, it's basically all even. Between the 2 of them, potentially more rather have armor, given it'll speed up the swamp tiles, and also prevent you from taking damage from them. But I should note that while they have had Hurtmore for a while, there are a lot of enemies that honestly you can't Hurtmore running around, or at least can't Hurtmore reliably running around. We've seen plenty of wizards, we've seen plenty of blue dragons, red dragons, stonemen, golems. All of those are at the level where ideally you want to swing through them instead of Hurtmoring them. Diabetes going for the princess, presumably. That said, might also be checking the chest if he hasn't done the math on the. Ooh, sees the blue dragon and nopes out. That's gonna be a bit unfortunate. I didn't realize his values were so low. Again, we know up here. Actually, no. Oh, he was searching for a grind. Yeah, I didn't see that he did the count. So he's done the count and has sword now as well. That puts him in a very good situation. He is, right now, in terms of exploration, the most well-situated of any of our runners. That said, he is also, conversely, as often is the case, the most behind in experience. Not by a huge amount, but by enough where it is notable. Gets the level which he really desperately needed. Gets that hurt more. Also gets an MP refill, which is honestly even bigger. We'll start repelling now. And at this point, he is just looking for trading caves, which, I don't know that I've seen a single trading cave on any of the screens. It could be that the final, most mappiest of bosses will in fact be that. But speaking of that, Chadbert does find Staff Cave. Didn't see exactly where it was, but he was heading northeast and managed to find it and is the first to trade that in. Meanwhile, Edge, still lacking the overworld search spot, will just rescue the princess and do that instead. Okay, Zylynor is saying in chat that he did spot Jerk already. It is east of Cantlin. So that's actually surprisingly central. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of other racers have already noticed it. In fact, Chadbert goes right there. So that was a cave that had been spotted by at least some of our racers and is going to be taken advantage of quickly. Chadbert is now only the overworld search spot shy of Grind and Go. If he recognizes that quickly, that said, I don't think he's counting. Has he rescued the princess? Because if not, he's either going to be doing that, presumably, or is maybe not realizing the situation, because that's all he needs. The lead just flipping back and forth repeatedly here, it feels like. Leave that swamp, so it looks like he will be rescuing. And yeah, there's the turn for the princess. So he will probably be the first racer to be Grind and Go fully, depending on when other racers see the Staff Cave. But it is going to be very, very tight, because outside of a couple things, all our racers are basically in the same boat. Speaking of, Edge going to be checking that princess and finding he's one off. And gets a treasure guard as a bonus. It's not supposed to happen, but hey, nice when it does. And with that armor, will not be able to be stop spelled, so Wizard's even more trivial. Chadbert, meanwhile, going to be rescuing the princess. Now does get through the blue dragon. Knights do have the L2. It's a lot less dangerous with armor, but it could be dangerous depending on how his luck goes. Oh, that was maybe a risky run. I don't know that he was guaranteed to run there. Zylynor, meanwhile, finding the harp. This is going to be really tight between Zylynor and Edge in terms of being go. Not Edge, Chadbert. But they're going to both be Grind and Go at around the same time once Zylynor finishes getting the Jerk and Chadbert finishes turning the princess in and getting back to the search spot. Zylynor will be about a bit ahead. Basically just one jaunt into the wilderness away ahead of Chadbert. Not sure what the experience situation is between them. Looks like Chadbert about 4K. Zylynor only like less than 100 behind. So right now Zylynor definitely in the lead. That said, in this flag set, a lot of things can change. The Blue Dragons are very friendly in terms of experience gained, but as we've seen quite a lot this week with level up refills on, you can just dive into Sherlock, and as long as you can get levels before you run out of resources, you can stay there indefinitely. That said, 58 MP is not a lot of resources before you run out of. Edge, meanwhile, also finding staff. The last one to find it will be the last one to be fully go, depending on Chadbert. But Chadbert still hasn't quite gotten to the search spot. Will just here. Not quite a treasure guard on his side. That was, I believe, one tile too few. But it is a golem, and it looks like he is in a fighting mood. Meanwhile, Zylynor sitting on that grind, starting to take a bigger and bigger experience lead. So with the lion's share of the exploration basically done, Edge needs to get back to Jerk. Chadbert needs to finish this fight and move a step to grab the sword. We can really start paying attention a bit more to go level, and it is not go level yet. As noted in chat, Zylynor hitting level 13 still has not provided enough strength or MP. Agility and HP, fantastic, but the HP is not even enough yet to Death Necklace either. Looks like Chadbert may be skipping the spike tiles and going into Sherlock here. Edge making his way back to Jerk. Will now be grinding go as well. But as the others have kind of moved toward grinds, finished off their exploration, or decided where to grind, Zylynor is just in the bottom right, gaining more and more experience over everyone else. Again, this is honestly a rough stat point to do a dive and grind into Sherlock on and just get the level in there. Diabetes, meanwhile, actually 3 of our racers are all in Cantlin doing their various study bits. It does change it PDDCM. There we go. But the problem is, if you don't manage to get a level before you run out of MP, it doesn't actually change the equation that much, because you're potentially going to die in Sherlock anyway. That said, we do have level 14 on Zylynor's side. Death Necklace is now in play, although it is a very annoying amount of HP. Like, your Death Necklace is eligible, but you'd prefer a little bit more. Did somewhat solve some of the AP value issues, but very little MP gained, still not really go. Equipping the Death Necklace will get you to 130. 130 is about 14.5 heal mores on average. that is not nearly covered by 60-something MP. I believe right now Zylynor is sitting at 7 heal mores. Does, between the HP and the attack power boost, does make diving into Sharlock and grinding in there a bit better. Meanwhile, Chadbert sitting outside of Sharlock grinding these green dragons. And Diabeetus trying to leverage this into a diving grind. I don't know that his resources are going to hold out super well. Zylynor also doing the same, but has the advantage of about 16 more AP, no, 6 more AP and 4 more MP. Yeah, right. Here's a situation that Diabeetus is in, where he's just trying to preserve the dive and grind, but just didn't have enough resources to go through that fight safely. Edge also maneuvering into Sharlock. Yeah, the potential danger in this play is that the Sharlock Spike Tile just might not be good. For instance, this Stone Man that has Sleep would be kind of annoying and dangerous. Technically, in this, no enemy guaranteed pays off, although, to be fair, you know, some of them have killed the Red Dragon. I don't think all of them have killed a Red Dragon right now. But yeah, hurt Reds would be fantastic. But there's always the danger that it's something that isn't quite so friendly. So all the racers now in Sharlock. We have Edge grinding on the top floor. The others are maneuvering downwards. 2 of them are already on the dark floors. Chadbert on the top floor has just entered from the desert zone. Big swing by the Red Dragon. I believe technically could have killed him there. Although my Red Dragon math is never as good as it should be. Diabeetus definitely the furthest along in Sharlock, I believe. I don't know, the other thing to keep in mind is I don't know how many of the racers are actually aware that the Stone Man casts Sleep. I don't think it's a high percentage because we've seen quite a few Stonemen and I only just now saw the Sleep. And Diabeetus went that entire fight, I believe, without seeing a Sleep. So that could potentially be very, very suddenly deadly. Okay, Zylynor's deeper into Sharlock. Yeah, he is. By about a floor, although with this encounter that's going to change by even more. Meanwhile, the experienced lead has long since gone to Zylynor and stayed there from that grind on the Blue Dragon Spike Tile. So he's definitely in the lead in multiple respects. About 1,000 and change ahead of Diabeetus, and about 1,500 over Edge and Chadbert. And he will finally make it down to this encounter field. I feel like there's been a lot of encounters in this Sharlock, and he will make it onto the final floor. Which, to be fair, you know, if you're going to be seeing a lot of encounters in Sharlock, this flag set and not yet being go level is the time to get all your encounters in. Chadbert, meanwhile, not too far behind either of them. So we have our first sighting of the spike, and it will give Zylynor the level. Level 15 is a good help, but not enough. Decidedly Death Necklace eligible now. You would get to 136 with the Death Necklace. That's at 12. Generally the math is you need 2 less Healmores than you need swings, basically. And he's not quite there. He's still at 65 MP, so that's only 8 Healmores. So he's really looking for another big boost in MP or attack power. HP you'd never say no to, but is not really impactful right now, especially with the DP being where it is. Like, you're not really going to expect too many doubles unless you leave off the Death Necklace, and if you leave off the Death Necklace, you've got an AP problem. Ooh, Zylynor, if he didn't have the news about the Sleep Stone Man, he does have it now, and is dangerously close to potentially dying, but does manage to wake up, and will get a Healmore off, but does get slept again immediately. Oh, wow. We'll get the stop spell off finally, and that will basically salvage this fight, but it did take a chunk out of his MP for a lot less gain than you really would want to have for the amount of MP and time used there. We'll grind behind the spike tile here. Not, honestly, something I love, although the Armor Knight has not Hurtmore. It has something. I didn't see what it was. I think it was the W2. My brain unparsed it out immediately after seeing it. But I think if you're not going to take it, you probably just want to grind the desert tiles, because the encounter rate is going to be a bit higher on there. That looks like what Diabetes is probably going to do, but yeah, that spike tile is a bit rough. Yeah, the lower encounter rate here is letting Diabetes catch up a little bit, along with just some RNG, and also knowing the Stonemen already have sleep. Meanwhile, Chadbert making it to the spike tile as well. Resources are a little bit tight if the Armor Knight goes around dodging like that. Should still get the level, but it's gonna be a little bit annoyed at how close it was, probably. Yeah, I believe on the final floor of Sharlock, all the tiles have their natural encounter rate, and the desert is higher. I believe, although don't quote me because I'm always bad at remembering, that Swamp and the cave tiles that Zylynor is on are tied in encounter rate, whereas the desert tiles and hill tiles, which are not here, come out a little bit ahead. So Zylynor is bleeding a little bit of experience over time to Diabetes due to a lower encounter rate on his side. Does have the advantage of not having to get back to that spike tile, though. we have all the racers at level 15 now. That said, some of them are about to be leaving it. Next level is at 9,750. Zylynor has decided to go back to the spike tile. Honestly, I kind of love this play. The main problem with the Armor Knight is you're just not it's not resource efficient to potentially have to hurt more and heal more after the fight on this spike tile. But even though it didn't roll fantastic at 156, it's still enough where you know, if you don't need MP efficiency, it's going to be faster in general. Especially considering that at least 2 of the enemies on this bottom floor have sleep, and one of them is actually somewhat dangerous. So if you know you're going to be able to get the level, which he will with this AK-47, you might as well just go back to the spike tile. And speaking of level, we have level 16, is it go? AP didn't help, nothing else helped. MP... yeah, that's not... that's 137, so 11.7 swings. You did finally get up to 8 heal mores. It's technically doable, but you do have to make up 0.7 a swing. I would probably wait another level, but it looks like Zylynor likes level 16. So we'll have to make up about 0.7 or just hope the Dragon Lord has low HP. Gets through Dragon Lord 2 with full, Dragon Lord 1 with full HP, so that's very good. Not guaranteed, and honestly a bit lucky to do so. So we'll be into this fight with full HP after the Death Necklace and no back attack. Meanwhile, Diabeetus also hitting level 16. We'll be curious to see his choice. I am not going to be able to count Zylynor's, so apologize for that. But he will need to make up some damage. Looks like Diabeetus is maybe heading off the spike, unless he was just walking south. Which, to be fair, when you're in this situation, walking south is generally a good idea. That said, he walks south and then takes the encounter. Oh no, he goes back up into the desert. Okay. So yeah, he's still in it for 17. Honestly, don't blame him. This is potentially risky fight. That said, Zylynor rolling pretty well. We'll need to have more of it. And is running out of heal mores, so this is still a somewhat sticky situation. That said, an 18 right there. Oh, I didn't see what happened to Edge. Edge is now out of Sharlock. 14 there. This is looking potentially good for Zylynor. The risk may end up paying off, but he doesn't have a heal more left, but he does get the win with 65 HP remaining. Get your GGs out in chat. He will be taking the 5 points from first place. And right now it's just going to be a battle between the difference between Diabeetus and Chadbert. Because if Chadbert goes at 16 and does also get through it as... oh... Edge was taking a risky fight and got a 30 damage hit to take him out. That is unfortunate for Edge. Unless one of the other runners makes a mistake or missteps, that could put him in a bad situation here. Maybe doesn't have the large shield. Yeah, I'm not sure anyone has the large shield. Yeah, it's this total, that's about all you'd be really, yeah. No large shields gotten anywhere, so I imagine they just weren't in the seed. And I guess since Edge maybe didn't fully explore all the shops, was just hoping to spike one out of there. Oh, well, over to that side of the screen, Chadbert has decided level 16 is go. Yeah, as Aaron 2 noting, that was really quick turn to go to the Dragon Lord. It could be that he just decided Chadbert decided that Zylynor won on 16 and that he might as well, or just that he is behind Diabetes, which is the case. Because if he goes to 17, he doesn't have a chance of catching up to Diabetes. Didn't. Okay, so he did enter this fight with full HP after the Death Necklace, and did also not get back attacked. So he's in good situation, although his opening swing was only an 11, so certainly not rolling as well so far, and does need to. There's a 16. That's a lot better. $15. He may need these good rolls. It came down to the wire for Zylynor, and again, Zylynor's rolls were very good. Another 16. So yeah, this is looking pretty good for Chadbert, although again, Zylynor's rolls were even better than this, I think. And it was second last swing for him, so this could be very tight. Already down to 2 Healmores, a 17 there, that'll help a lot. $11 there, that's not going to do enough. He's going to be final swing potentially, and he gets an 18 and gets through. That could have been very tight. I don't know the exact damage numbers, but that was very likely final swing unless the Dragon Lord swung low. So get your GDs out for Chadbert. He will take second place and 3 points. Absolutely tight finish. Deciding to go on 16 absolutely mattered because Diabetes is going to hit level 17 with this fight, and I imagine he potentially could go either way depending, and 4 power, that absolutely does it, and another heal more. So yeah, it's go with a bullet there. Yeah, 150, 158 probably didn't matter in Zylynor's case, but if that HP had been a little bit higher, Chadbert might have been in trouble. So Diabetes will also pop the Death Necklace on. That'll put him at 141. 141 is just 10.5 swings. Swings, and especially the extra heal more means he is absolutely in good shape to beat this Dragon Lord unless he has bad luck. 17 as one of his early swings shows that he's not having bad luck so far, and 18. Yeah, Diabetes getting good enough rolls here to make it through. Meanwhile, while that continues, Edge has hit 16 and is on the final floor. But depending on if this fight goes the way it seems like it probably will, may just take level 17 anyway, because may see the 3rd place finish from Diabetes here. But it's going to come down to final swing for, like, that's how tight it was, folks. Diabetes just got through the fight on the final swing anyway. And that's despite 4 more AP and an extra heal more. Get your GGs out for Diabetes. That was skin of the teeth. Looks like Edge is probably just going to take it 16 rather than try to go for 17, especially once he sees the finish here. We have Edge going into the final fight. Wasn't quite as lucky as Chadbert and Zylynor to have full HP going into it, but also doesn't get the back attack and does get a pretty low melee there. So isn't hurt too much really by that. That said, as we've just seen examples of, we'll need some good good swings. He is using the Fairy Water here. I don't know if that's actually the correct play at 137. Stat sheet says 127, but he has a Death Necklace on, so that'll be 137. I don't know that Fairy Water is better than swinging then. At the very least, I don't think it's, worse by any noticeable amount, but this could be a slight damage loss here. And if it is, he might, need the extra damage, because we just saw Diabetes nearly fail this with a bit more in the tank. $11 there. That's so far the rolls haven't been super good. 12. This, given what we just saw of Diabetes' rolls, I don't know. 15 helps get him back on track a little bit, but this is going to be real tight. Probably needs good swings down the back half. 17, that's a great one, but this is going to be his final one. Unless I think he's not as close as he might have been, because he is considering hurt mooring there. Goes for the swing instead, gets a 9, and that will not do it. And that was the other side of the coin flip from taking it on 16. And given the pause here, I imagine Edge is probably in the middle of forfeiting. Yeah, it's a did not finish from Edge. No shame in that. No real reason to go back through Sherlock and grind another level. Because obviously at that point you probably feel another level was justified.
All right, folks.
So that will be all of them finished. That is Zylynor taking the win and 5 points. Chadbert taking second place and 3 points, because there's a 1 point drop off as a reward finishing first. Diabetes finishing third and grabbing 2 points, and Edge with last place in the group getting 1 point. An absolutely tight race that started just abysmally. Low, really was min strength start, and Red Slimes had DL2 or Hurt More or something like that. So only really one reliably fighty enemy to fight. Bit rough, no towns immediately nearby to use some of that opening gold potential on. And despite the roughness of it and the different paths the racers took to get all the exploration done, basically 9 minutes apart for all the racers. An absolutely tight one that really hinged on a lot of decisions. As noted in chat, please follow our runners. Please also follow our broadcast team, Zylynor, the winner, also winning the restream. We also have Inji Dave and Shahali on tracking. I assume, given groups were just decided or published, because technically I think they probably would have been decided yesterday, given groups were just published like 3 or 4 hours ago, I imagine we probably don't have any races scheduled to shout out upcoming yet. But this next week has started. Week 3, Chaos Flags, or not Chaos Flags, Vanillish Flags. What kind of crazy person would use Chaos Flags for a positional round? Looks like we do have one group booked. That is Group 1 booked for Wednesday. So look forward to that. Potentially look forward to some before then or after then. Obviously, at least one of those is going to happen unless they all take place at the exact same time on the exact same day. But look forward for more Dragon Warrior Randomizer Winter League this week. I will potentially see you all later if I commentate another one. But at the very least, I'll see you all in chat. Have a good night, everyone.